Let's speak to Mark Artus. He's Chief Executive of global brand agency 1HQ. Great to have you with us, Mark.
Thank you.
First of all, we're not overdoing it here, are we? This was a hugely influential man.
Yeah, I think, behind every great brand, there's usually a great person. And I think Steve Jobs is one of those people. And I think, you look at all big brands when a big CEO leaves, whether it's Jack Welch or whether it's with Microsoft. I think it's Steve Jobs leaving Apple is going to be huge. He lived that brand, and we lived it with him. And
more than being the head of a company, he was an inventor. I mean, these were his creations.
Yeah, he was an inventor, but he did more than that. I think Apple has become one of those more absorptive brands. We've absorbed it into our lives. People live the life of Apple. People want to be associated with it. They want to go into his stores, and they think they're part of the Apple empire. And I think it's going to be massive. But with big corporations, that succession planning is a challenge for everybody, and I think they're going to have a big challenge on their hands.
How big? I mean, at what point do we look at Apple and say, okay, this is really Apple without the guidance of Steve Jobs, and can they do it? Can they continue to be such great innovators without him?
Yeah, I'm sure they can, but what he brought to Apple, I mean, he's got a magic to it. There's an aura around Steve Jobs, as there is an aura around great CEOs or great people that lead brands, and I think Apple, he was so much a part of it that it'll be a challenge for them.
And this great aura was no accident. I mean, this was a man who was a total perfectionist. Every single appearance was meticulously planned. He would rehearse and rehearse those product launches, those Let's Talk events.
Yeah.
He really controlled his image.
Yeah, Apple, I talked about absorptive brands. I mean, it's one of those brands, it's very similar to Harley Davidson. I mean, Harley Davidson, people love Harley Davidson. They tattoo Harley Davidson on their arms because they want to be part of that lifestyle. I think it's the same thing with Apple, and I think it's a mega thing.
When you buy an Apple product these days, I just picked up an iPad myself. You get little Apple stickers that I've noticed have started popping up on people's desks and on their cars and in other places. People do really want to associate themselves with the brand. But interesting also, reading today about him and about his life, these products really were a mirror image of him, because he was kind of this techie geek. I mean, anybody that uses a lot of technology, we call them tech geeks nowadays. It's becoming more and more common. But he was a nerd, but he was also this design genius. I mean, he really wanted to marry up that artistry with technology, and what came out was a really cool, sexy product.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't just a nerd.
No, and that's where I think the magic is. I think, some people have that certain cognitive dissonance where they're capable of looking at the creative side of things and at the academic complexities of stuff. And he seemed to be a man that seemed to be able to marry the brilliance of the technology with the beauty of the actual package you wrapped it up in. And that's a rare gift. And I think that's why people associate themselves so much with the Apple products, because when you look at it, they're sexy. People love it. They love the way they are. And as a result of that, people want to be a part of it. So I think it'll be interesting to see how Apple can continue to grow without such a powerful mind behind it.
All right, Mark Artus, thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate it.